Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 292 of Kouryer Podcast. Our today's guest is Miss Bengisu Selçuk. She's a mid-level environment artist at Roommate Studio from Istanbul, Turkey. And with that quick introduction out of the way, I just need to quickly mention that in the caption you can find a link to our art session as well. In the art session link, there's link to her LinkedIn and also email address. So if you had any questions or wanted to send something, or say hi, you could just contact from there. And yes, and we're very getting inching close to the season finale and end of this season of the podcast, like season three of the podcast. I think it's been finalized what the color of the next season should be. And yeah, the first season's color was actually green. The second season was blue. The third season is yellow, but the fourth season, I kind of decided what I want it to be, but I want to know your opinion right now. What do you think it should be?
If you're asking me, I would say purple.
Hmm. Yeah, I got purple, red, orange, pink a lot, right? Based on my previous colors, but I think it would make sense to go with orange, right? Because a jump from yellow to purple, it doesn't make much sense. But a jump from yellow to orange, then later red, then purple, that makes sense.
Oh, then you got it all planned out. Then that's perfectly fine. I just said purple because I love purple and I make everything purple if it's possible all the time. That would be my go-to color. But what you said makes so much sense, being
Hmm.
like a smooth transition.
Yeah, but I want to do something unexpected as well. Like maybe one season I would just don't do go by the logic and I would just pick a random color. Like I don't know, like something
Well,
else.
purple is the exact opposite of yellow, so maybe that would be like a shock effect.
That's a good argument,
Yeah.
actually. But I don't think I'll go with it. I'll go with orange. I'm sorry. Yeah, because I recently got the, sorry.
I lost it. I lost the fight.
Yeah, because I
Sorry, purple.
recently played Mirror's Edge, and the use of the colors in that game. Have you played that game or seen that game?
No, no, I didn't. No.
Oh, like especially as an environment artist, you should definitely not check it out. Like especially try Mirror's Edge 2. Like it's actually such a fun game as well, chill fun game as well. And actually today I installed the first one to replay that as well to play that as well, not replay it actually, never played it. So the use of colors of red, yellow, orange, white, gray, black, just these simple colors, they made really good compositions. So that's why orange is like sticking in my head right now. And yeah, so that was an interesting introduction. Please let me know in the comments what color do you think I should put in the for the next graphics for as a main color of the graphics of the next season. Like I like
Purple.
well, let's see what happens. Let's see what people say. But for now, let's start the conversation officially. Well, and usually the way I kickstart the whole questions on the podcast is with this question, which is, tell us about your origin story of basically what led you to choose art as your main thing in your life, and how's the journey been from the start till now. Like if you could just tell us everything.
All right, then I'll go with the long story. I guess it all started when I was like a kid. We would sit in front of the computer with my dad, and we would just play computer games, like those old games in 2002, 2003. My dad would just play it, and I would watch him. And at one point, I started to play them without my dad, and I guess um, the the game that really kicked me into this industry was The Sims. The Sims, I was playing The Sims 2 a lot before I was going to high school, and I would just play it after I come back from school. And at one point, it just wasn't enough for me to just play it. I just wanted to create some content to it, because there are these mods that you can download and add to your game, and I was like into those custom assets a lot during those times, and I just wanted to create something that I can add into that game. But I was like very young. I didn't know English very well back then. I didn't know anything about the terminology, about how to make something and put it into a game. And I just researched some tutorials. I tried to understand what's the process, and luckily, I kind of made a few skin variations, tattoo variations to The Sims 4. It was like 9, 10 years ago when I was in high school, 2015, around 2015, I guess. And I think that was the first UV mapping I did, even without knowing what I was doing, actually. And then I started getting curious about 3D modeling. I wanted to add some furniture to the game that I was gonna make, and I kind of wanted to learn about Blender, which was in very early stages at the time. And I, again, tried to find some tutorials, tried to learn how the process is. Um, but, you know, I really couldn't understand anything at the time because I was young. My English wasn't that good back then to understand the technical things. And also, I had this university exam coming, and I had to really focus on that in that year. So I had to take a break from my hobby, let's say. At the time, it was a hobby. And then I think there was like a pause, a few years that I had no idea what I was going to do. I had to choose a major to go to the university. And, you know, by the time I kind of knew I wanted to do something about 3D, I wanted to do something creative because that's all my childhood. That was, I would read books, I would, create like fantasy worlds in my head. I would um, play games, and I would just run to those fictions all the time. And I knew I wanted to do something creative. But in Turkey, I'm in Turkey, and the gaming industry in Turkey at the time, especially in terms of academics, wasn't really that, let's say, famous. Let's say, I mean, we didn't have lots of educational options to pursue a career in gaming industry here. And I didn't even know the industry existed. I had no idea. I was just looking through my options, and I decided to pursue architecture as a university major. um, I'm not sure if it was the best or the worst decision I made. It depends on how you look at the subject. But it made me be introduced to this game design and development club in my university, Istanbul Technical University. And everything changed when I decided to join that student club. And I think I can confidently say that that was where my artistic vision started to really started to born. Uh, I started to, how to say, explore myself as an artist there. And I was in the first year of college. It was around the end of the first year, and I was doing good with architecture classes, but I knew it wasn't really what I wanted. And um, I was just introduced to this awesome environment that people are making games, and people are working on game engines, doing artworks, doing awesome stuff, adding some cool musics and SFX and VFX to their projects. And it was just I felt I belonged there. And I decided to pursue. Okay, I said I'm gonna be an artist in the games industry, but yeah, I'm gonna do it while also studying architecture because I need a diploma anyway. Um, so I just started to teach myself, and at that time, it was the COVID pandemic hits. And it was actually very much helpful for me. I mean, it was really bad that people got sick and we had to be at our homes. It was like lockdowns. But I think it was the best thing that happened to me in my university years, because I finally had the time to also focus on developing my skills as a 3D artist on my own, because I didn't really have anywhere else that I can go to study 3D. So, I just needed to teach myself everything. And I decided to postpone my graduation. I started taking less classes so that I would have time to work on my skills. And of course, my parents didn't really like the idea. They just wanted me to graduate as soon as possible and, start a life, have a schedule like 8 p.m. in the morning, 5 p.m. Sorry, 8 a.m. in the morning, 5 p.m. at night. Just have weekends off, classical, traditional life. But yeah, it wasn't really what I wanted for myself. So I think how I got into the industry started with COVID in a professional manner, because I started to learn about the softwares, the pipeline, the workflows that the environment artists follow usually. And I started to build a portfolio. I needed to learn 3D modeling. I needed to learn about game engines. I needed to learn technical stuff. Also, I needed to create some portfolio environments so that I can, showcase my skills. That's like classic for, I think, every artist, every self-taught artist, let's say. But yeah, I started to work on this environment in my ArtStation portfolio. It's the Cobra Crypt. And, it was actually a meme topic in the game design and development club at the time, because when I started it, it was I think 4 years ago, maybe. And I finished it in 2 years. It took me 2 years to finish my first portfolio project. And usually it's just too long to do a single environment project as a start. But I just had to deal with the classes at the same time. So it kept, it kept interrupted. My progress kept interrupted all the time because I had to do the homeworks and everything. But yeah, finally I finished it. And around before I finished it, actually, we had this game jam event in our ITU game design club. And my previous workplace, L'Arte Studios, was actually the sponsor of this game jam. So I was already following them on social media. I loved their works, and I wanted to, work there. And I was aiming for my portfolio piece to be the portfolio environment that will get me accepted to the studio and work with them. And when I heard that they're sponsoring one of the game jam events, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to them. I'm gonna go show them my environment, which hasn't been finished back then. And yeah, like they came to the game jam area, and then I spoke with the founder and the co-founder. I showed them my half finished piece, and I told them that I want to be an intern in their company for the summer. And I think they said, it looks good. You finish that environment and then write back to us, they said. And it took me a few more months to finish it. I completed it, and then I texted our founder that I want to work there. And yeah, that's how I got into the industry. A lot of self-teaching, a lot of pursuing the companies and the people that will help you to get into the industry. And I actually started as a level artist in the stylized team of Le Artist Studios, which wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted to work on realistic environments, and as an environment artist originally, not a level artist. But at that time, I was I was okay. I just wanted to get into the industry, so I started as a stylized level artist there. And I'm so glad that I started as a level artist, because I actually discovered there that I actually wanted to be a level artist more than an environment artist. And yeah, I worked there as an intern for the summer, and then I had to quit, because if I wanted to continue working there, I also um, had to postpone my graduation once again, because I couldn't really work there part time and also study my classes if I didn't postpone some of the classes to the next semester. And guess what? I did. I did postpone my graduation once again, and it was again a topic of discussion in my family. But I did it anyway. So I started working there as a part-time level artist, and half time part-time architecture student at the same time. Oh boy, it was hell of a year for me. That's both working and studying. It was difficult. It was probably the most difficult thing I've ever done in my whole um, student life. But I believe it's worth every single day of it. It got me a lot of experience. It got me a way into this industry, and I met with a lot of great artists there. And I worked there for like 1.5 years, I think. And I'm about to graduate. Let's say I'm waiting for it to be official right now. And for the past 3 months, I've been working with roommates when I got an offer to work on their projects, which were game projects rather than marketplace projects, which Larta Studios was working on. And I've really always wanted to work on games. So that's why I took the offer of the roommate. And yeah, I've been working with them for the past 3 months. And this is, I think, the long version of my story of how I got into the industry.
That's a hell of a journey. Damn.
Yeah,
And
it was very something.
yeah, like have you ever like about Sims actually? Have you ever like tried to like because the thing is there's some common things everyone who has played Sims in their when they're kids they did at some point, you know? Okay, just the way you just covered your mouth, I think you can tell the genocidal degenerate things people do
Yeah,
on Sims. Like the common money glitch, like because if you don't know the cheat code to money, and I think the cheat code to money was on
motherload. I
yeah,
think it was.
motherload, yeah,
Yeah.
and like, that's amazing. I just remember it. And the thing is, there was another way you could marry someone, make a pool in your house, make them swim in the pool, and remove the handles, and boom, easy money.
I know, I know. I did a lot of bad things in Sims.
It
Yeah,
brings
I'm
out the
I'm
worst of
guilty. I'm
us.
guilty.
Yeah, it brings out the worst of us when we play. When we have so we can play as God, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The most traumatic thing I did, I think, was I found this mod which was a grilled baby. You could grill a baby in the barbecue thing, and it was the most traumatic thing I think I did
Wait,
in
did
The
they add
Sims.
animations and sound effects and everything to it?
I'm not sure. I don't really remember. in that detail, but there was this, grill model, and then you
Yes.
normally put some food in it, just
Chicken,
barbecue it.
burgers,
Yeah,
hot dogs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
But the
like
baby
with that
this time.
mod, you could put a baby in it, and it was like burned charcoal when you take it out. It was,
Damn.
yeah, it's dark,
Yeah. Like I
dark
remember.
stuff.
Yeah, I remember Sims 3 was the most fun. I don't know, but Sims 3 was normal, but I only played Sims 4 for like 10, 15 minutes, but it didn't make sense to me at all. I don't know why.
I definitely agree. The I have the whole collection of The Sims 2 as DVDs. It's like one of the things I'm very much proud of having. I collected every single one of them, and I didn't really play The Sims after the second. Like I didn't play the third one at all, and the fourth one I just did some skin variations there. But like Sims 2 was my Sims game.
Yeah, I remember there was the expansion of like travel, holiday, or something like that. I really liked that, or the college one. I really liked the college expansion in Sims 2 as well.
Yeah,
And
University one.
yeah, Sims 3 had some fun expansions too. There was like travel, you could go to China, Egypt, and stuff like that. There was like dungeons. Remember that?
I didn't play it, the third one at all, so I
Yeah,
have
the
no
third
idea
one
what they
was
did.
third
Yeah.
one was still nice. Like if I'm being honest, third one was pretty cool. Actually, I miss it now that I think of it. Yeah, that was a really fun game. Yeah, but The Sims
Yeah.
4, nope, that's not for me. I'm sorry, it's too weirdly complicated, and a lot of the things are behind the paywall at this point. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
second one was my I guess childhood game.
yeah, like the first one as well. I remember one of the expansions of Sims 1 that I clearly remember was the spooky Halloween themed one, where it gave you a new map and bunch of like new houses, ready-made houses and maps and events and items. Like that was like it had a certain charm to it. It I don't know, maybe because it was had that retro low poly feel to it because it's of course Sims 1. I don't know, but yeah, it had a certain charm to it. You know, I still like when I think about it. If I could, I'd play it right now. Yeah,
Sometimes, yeah, I crave for like old games, and I actually
yeah,
have a few old games downloaded in my PC. And because of the systems that they developed those games for are old, now they actually don't really work properly on my Windows. But yeah, I still sometimes have like those cravings to play those old retro games that I was playing when I was a kid.
yeah. I think you could run it on virtual machines like easily. I think like those old games, right?
Yeah, actually, that might work, but I never tried it.
Yeah, actually, I have a Garfield game. Like there was a Garfield game from 2004, and I used to love it as a kid. It was so fun. And actually, I'm making a game based off the concept of the gameplay of it right now. Like it's in the concept phase, but it was an extremely fun game. And I downloaded it, but it wouldn't run. But I think I should actually try it with the virtual machine. And now that I think of it, I should do that. Yeah,
Maybe that works.
yeah, it'll probably work if I'm being honest. But yeah, one way to find out. And
Yeah.
that's interesting. But now I want to ask you something else, which is um, why out of all of these positions and roles, what led you to become an environment artist, like a 3D environment artist? Like, there's character art, there's character concept art, there's character modeling, there's concept art, there's key value artists, there's keyframe artists, there's print, like there's so many
Yeah,
different like
yeah,
gazillion
that's
roles.
endless. Yeah.
But what led you to specifically this? And also, just to add something to that question as well, how has your experience been so far working as an environment artist?
Um, I think, well, this is a very good question that I have to think back to answer it. Uh, well, I can say that maybe while I was playing Sims, I would always take a lot of time building the houses, building the environment first, and um, I would spend little time actually simulating the game. So I think it was always in me to do the environment. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint something specific that I was, that I realized that I want to do it. But I was always, just making environments. world building. I loved world building from the oldest memory I have. I think I can say I would read books and I would just visualize them in my head. I would like live those stories, and uh, I would imagine the environments and the events that take place in those magical worlds. And um, yeah, the desire to create something that you can the desire to create a new world, let's say, that you can put yourself in and experience. Maybe that's the root of why I took this direction as an environment artist. uh, yeah, and also choosing architecture helped with this a lot, because it gave me some very fundamental basics uh, for environment creation. Because architecture is basically building experiences using the material world, building spaces. So that also was very much in line with what I wanted to do instinctively, maybe. But I don't really have a definitive answer to your question, why environment. But it's just always been like that for me.
Yeah, like you don't need to get like that's a pretty definitive answer. It's like asking someone why orange is your favorite color because it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know? And yeah, but in your case purple actually. But yeah. Actually,
Yeah,
fun fact,
purple definitely.
my sticky note is purple actually here, now that I think of it. Hmm.
Yeah, those are the signs that you should be aware of,
But at
from
the
your
same
surroundings.
time, behind it, there's like orange sticky note. So I don't know.
That looks yellow to me.
No, 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 no. That's this is the green one. This is the orange one. And yeah, this is a I guess lavender. If I want to make it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a great color. I love it.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably negative future seasons. Yeah, I'm not really too keen on purple. I'm sorry. Yeah. Um. Yeah. All right. Wait. Actually, wait a second. What? I think red and blue when they combine, they make purple, right?
I think so. Red, blue, yeah, true.
Yes.
I think so.
All right. So the first season was green. The second season was blue. And when green and blue mix together, they make yellow, right?
I think so.
Yes. So the next season, okay, so we have a child and a parent here for the first three seasons. Now I need to make another child and parent. So I'm going with orange. I'm going with orange, right? Now the next season I'll probably go with red. Oh, but then blue cheats on green, and has a baby with red, and now we have the purple for the season, another season. This
There
just
is this deep color theory
yeah,
going on in your head right now.
yeah. There's like so many things there. Do you see that meme of the guys like having like all these strings and reds on the wall with phones that's like just working on something? You know that meme?
I have an idea. Why don't you
Hmm.
just take a color wheel and just close your eyes and just pick something?
Hmm.
Just go completely
All right.
coincidental.
Let's actually try it. This is gonna be fun. For everyone who's listening, I highly recommend you to get on YouTube. All right. Color wheel. Jesus.
Yeah,
All
or
right.
roll a dice. I have a lot of the D&D dices,
Ooh,
and
you're into
sometimes.
D&D?
Oh yeah,
I'm into
yeah,
D&D,
yeah,
but I've never
definitely.
played a single D&D campaign. But that's another subject for another conversation. But all right, we got we got our color wheel, right?
Color wheel. Yeah,
So all right, so how can we do this? All right, you know what? No. All right, is it good now? I'm not seeing anything. All
yeah,
right,
I think so.
all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Mm.
You're not even on the chart.
But look, I'm here. I literally on above the orange. I'm not kidding.
Well, I can argue that you looked at the chart before you put your finger on the
All
screen.
right. How can I open the chart without looking at it? Like,
Just roll a dice, man.
all right, could you roll dice for me? I don't have a dice.
My dices are so far away.
Then
Maybe
never
we
mind.
can.
This is destiny. Your dices are far away because it's this. See, I look orange right now on the fucking camera. Like,
Well, I'm rolling a dice, but Yeah, we didn't assign any colors, whatever.
Yeah. Never mind. Let's just move on.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, what were we talking about? I forgot.
Why I chose level art
Oh
or
yeah, that.
environment art.
All right.
Yeah.
To continue on that, I want to ask you another question. Which is, could you please explain to us the structure of your pipeline? Basically, how does your workflow work when you want to start working on a project? Like, what steps, in what order of steps do you do things when you're working on a project? That's what I'm trying to ask.
It actually depends on the project type you're working on. It depends on any project, really. For example, if it's a game project or a cinematic project or, a marketplace environment project or a portfolio project, it your workflow, or let's say my workflow, depends on the scope of the project. And but in general, when I'm creating a level or like an environment, there are some basic and fundamental steps that I would do no matter what the project is. Um, and I can confidently say the first thing I always do is planning. I can't stress this enough, importance of planning. At least for me, I tend to plan everything. I'd like to know what I'm getting into before I start doing it, actually. So, the first thing I would always do would be to, just simulate the project in my head, plan it. This would include like what is the scope of the project, and what will be the skills and the tools that will be necessary for me to do that project, or what kind of resources do I need, and how much time do I have to create those projects. So this planning stage is very important for me to actually successfully complete any task I have. Like it can be the simplest task or a very large project. If I don't plan it out, um, usually and most definitely there will be problems on the way that might potentially be very damaging to the project on the long run. So um, I would say after the planning, I always gather some very solid references, because without references, I'm nothing. All of my skills, you can just take them and throw them out of the garbage. I have to have a lot of environmental references, lighting references, or quality references from the industry or art style, maybe, that I will be using when I'm working on that project. So I can't stress the importance of reference enough. Even like right now, in my daily work, I always find at least one new reference picture as I'm working. It's an ongoing process throughout the project, because you always need to look at some more guides, some more real life examples, or some reference that you can check with your artwork, compare or take some ideas, maybe. So these two initial steps are very important for me. And most of the time, I see that some artists skip these parts and just, dive right in. And that also can be an approach, but I can never work like that. I was never able to. So uh, I need a solid planning and reference, stage at the beginning. And then the fun part starts. When I have all the material I need to start, um, for the levels, for or any environment that I will be building, I start with the block out stage. There's just taking very primitive shapes, boxes, cylinders, I don't know, prisms, whatever works for you, or very like amorphous shapes. Like just take whatever primitive shape you have, and start building a composition. Start building your first playable, or maybe if you're not going to have any gameplay, you're just doing it for maybe uh, taking a few cinematic shots. Just build it with those rough shapes and test it. Test it with those large details, and you can start with the initial composition of your environment, and it helps a lot for the long run, because you see if you have any mistakes you did in the scale of the environment, the scope. I also make a lighting block at this stage as well. Just very very basic, nothing in too much detail, just to get the atmosphere of the environment, get the vibe, to test if it's working. Because if your blockout is working, most probably it will keep working on the next stages of the production. So it's also very important stage for me to have a solid layout for my environment, using these gray boxing stage. Also, like, if you're doing this environment for a game, it's very important to do this stage for the gameplay tests to be able to start, because this is a long process. Any environment project takes time, and if it's a game, then also the gameplay will be the most crucial element that you will need to take into consideration. So this is also a very important point for me whenever I'm working on any environment. Also, you can at this point assign some basic materials, basic textures to get the feel. Nothing in detail, just some colors and some, get just some texture to get the feeling, the initial feeling of the environment. And usually, at this point, I also start, start creating if I'm gonna need any shaders, maybe, or any tools in my environment that I'm gonna use. So this is a good stage to also think about those little things. For example, I'm making an environment, and I have some actions that I will be doing repeatedly. I will be doing the same repeated action over and over again throughout the production. So rather than doing it like that, I can create a tool for it, like using blueprints in Unreal Engine, for example. And then in the long run, it helps me with my level art process a lot. And I'm a fan of using blueprints as level art tools. And I actually have a lot of examples that I shared on my LinkedIn profile from my previous projects. Let's say, like, I'm a sucker for tools, tools in level art. And I guess after, like, not after, but also at the same time I'm working with the blockout, I'm also planning out these, tools that I will be using in the long run. And then I also need to think about the optimization if it's a game project or anything dependent on the performance. You need to think about it from the beginning. Usually people think that optimization is the last part that you try to, make everything efficient. But it actually, in my opinion, should start from the beginning, that you have to think about it. You have to plan it to, efficiently use your time during your production, to not do some additional steps along the way. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I usually think about optimization quite a lot. from the beginning of early stages. And for me, I'm not creating 3D props or 3D artworks most of the times for my works, because I'm more working on the engine and assembling the environment, working on the creation of the environment. So I usually in my previous work, and also right now, I'm working with a 3D team. Like, they are creating all the environment props, and if there will be any buildings, the modular parts, and everything. Mostly, they will be creating the end result. But that doesn't mean that I don't have any responsibility on those parts either. As a level artist, for example, when I was working for marketplace projects, as a level artist, I needed to help the 3D team to guide them into how they should create some specific assets. For example, we would work on a variety of environments, and we always had some modular parts that we are using to create the buildings, or anything really. Anything can be modular. You can assemble the parts, and those parts will create the whole model. So I would usually be responsible to create the design the modularity, and help with the 3D team, guide them with the metrics, and where to put the pivot points, how to design the material slots and everything, because everything needs to be in everything needs to be working together when you import the asset into the engine. For example, I have like specific shaders, like materials in Unreal Engine, that requires a specific setup from the 3D artists. Maybe channel packing some textures into a specific order, or maybe I made a tool that requires specific metrics and pivot position from the 3D artist. So it's a communication, and at this point, in my workflow, I usually I would communicate with the 3D team about this stuff, and test these things in the engine all the time. It's the really the core production of the environments at this stage. It's creating the assets and placing them in the engine, and replacing the blockout step by step with the actual artworks. And I think one of the most important things at this stage is iteration, because iteration makes everything better. We need to, test the artworks we're doing all the time, every single day. We need to, redo it if it's necessary. We need to take it one step further, improve it, trying out, testing it. I think the most important thing about this stage is, just iterating, because it makes everything much better in the long run at the end. So this after the blockout, this stage would be the actual creation of the environment. Let's say it usually takes the longest time for me to build everything, and my general approach is to start with the large details and go into like smaller details. For example, in an environment, you start with the blockout. You define the initial. For example, if you have buildings, you define where the buildings are, where are your camera angles, or what is your gameplay path. And then you start adding just the large details, maybe some signs, some gates, roads, just the large ones. And as you progress through the environment, you start to add like smaller details bit by bit. Because when you do this, like first add large details, then add the small details. If you need to make a change, like a big change, drastic change in the layout during the production. For example, maybe you decided to put that building into somewhere else, or maybe the level design team wanted you to, change the environment because they changed the level design uh, at some area. If you start with the like smallest details in the environment, then you will have to move everything, all every single set dressing detail you have. And maybe it might not be it might not be working with the new design. So at this stage, it's best that I find it best to start with the largest details. And as you go, as the project process progress, um, you go into like smaller details and add those, those story elements, that's set dressing elements, that creates the environmental storytelling. But like I said, I always roughly plan it out before I start. So I always have like an idea of um, what I'm gonna do. But the thing about art that I like maybe the most is on the way it might change. You can just, while working, you might get a new angle and it just starts to build a composition. And those, coincidental creations, that's also very can be very interesting, actually. So we can't plan everything, I'm aware. We can't plan out everything 100%. So yeah, I think this is the production part of the environment. And after that, it's just, you can capture the atmosphere much better in greater detail, and you can start, polishing. If your environment is working as you're intended, um, you need to finalize it at one point. Either you have a deadline, or it's just, it never ends. If you had infinite time, you would just add more and more and more. It just never ends. So you just have to call it a day at a point. And you need to present it as best as you can. Because um, for architecture, our teachers would always tell us that you might have the best design in the world, but if you cannot present it properly, no one would understand it. So you might have the best artwork in the world, but you have to present it in a way that it will highlight its strengths, highlight its beauty, or whatever you're trying to convey with that environment. So I think the presentation of the environment is as important as the production of it. So I think, yeah, after you're completed with it, it's also important to take time to properly present it in your portfolio, or if it's gonna be a part of a larger project, polish it properly, considering gameplay elements. It's always going to be the first priority while doing art, to make sure it works for the gameplay. So, like, basically, for level, this is my common practice for any project I'm working for.
All right, that's a quite an extensive, process. Very good. Actually, I saw, I think, one of your posts on LinkedIn, that you were making with the procedural generation system of Unreal. I think you made this thing that makes ropes with flags on them, something like that. Uh,
Ropes.
yeah,
Which project was it?
I don't know, or maybe someone else did that, but you reposted it and said that's what inspired you to start using procedural um, workflow in your pipeline. I think that was, yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember something like that. Yeah.
Maybe not that specific tool, but I'm using procedural tools. I like to use procedural tools a lot
Mm-hmm.
because as a level artist, it's one of my best friends when I'm using Unreal Engine. And it's uh, at that point in my previous work, I would work with a colleague who is a great developer who would help me with the tools. I would come up with a tool idea that we need to implement to the pipeline, and he would just do it for me and I would use it for the level art, and it just saves a lot of time actually, and it can be really easier to do things with using procedural tools rather than doing everything one by one by one. For example, one of the projects we did in my previous workplace was an environment that was in a war zone, World War II themed war zone environment, and we had to create a lot of destruction and debris that was caused by the attacks to the village. And can you imagine the time it would take to try to place every single debris, or you know um, try to fit that into the environment if you didn't use any procedural tools for that. Uh, I mean, there are other options too, of course, but for our pipeline, we had to come up with like a solution uh, to make it as realistic as possible to simulate it, and I came up with this object distribution tool idea, and my developer friend did a great job on creating the tool exactly as I needed it to be. And yeah, without that tool, that environment would be very different. Like it wouldn't be that impactful without the tools. So yeah, I love using procedural tools as much as possible when I can.
All right. And the next question is, who are some of your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Uh, well, I can say two artists had a very large impact on um, how I started learning the skills I needed. The first artist is, I think, Tim Simpson. I don't know if you heard him. He has a YouTube channel, what was it? Polygon Academy, I think. I'm not sure. I need to
I'm
check
not
real
sure
quick.
either. No worries, no worries. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it real quick. Um, yes, Polygon Academy. Uh, like during COVID, I had no idea where to start. I didn't know which tools to learn. I didn't know what's the general pipeline of creating an environment. Uh, so I was looking for resources, and I was trying to sift the resources because there are a lot of videos, tutorials out there, but I was trying to find like real practices that are valid in the industry, not some resources that are touching just the surface or created by people that doesn't really have actual experience. So I found this uh, resource, and actually he had this series of an ArtStation challenge video that he made it as a vlog, and he had a video for the process, like from the start to the finish. and it gave me a huge inspiration and an initial idea of how I should do, like what's the order, block out, lighting, making the artwork, 3D assets, and then replacing them in the scene using efficient techniques, using blueprints to, maybe batch models together and put them in the environment as a blueprint actors. And yeah, I think my first portfolio environment was very heavily inspired by Tim Simpson's work. So that was my first inspiration as an artist, I can say. And the second is, when you're starting out, you're just lost. You have no idea if you're doing something wrong or if you're doing it right. And I needed some, feedback from professionals. So I was just going through the no, not LinkedIn, ArtStation, and randomly finding artists that are working in the industry, and then finding their email addresses and sending them an email, just telling them about, hi, I'm this new self-taught artist and I want to start environment art. What should I do? Um, and there is this one artist that helped me a lot in the process of my first environment piece, Patrick Gladys. Um, I remember seeing his portfolio in ArtStation and sending some questions to ask, and then he was so friendly. He helped me with my questions. He answered them, and he said I can ask anything I needed to ask if I have any more questions. So I sent some of the screenshots of my work in progress environment, and he gave me feedback, and it made a huge impact on me while I'm developing the environment. So that was also another huge help I got when I was starting out. So I can say these two artists has a special place for me, I guess, because it helped me a lot at that time when I had no idea what I'm doing.
All right, and now there's an interesting question. We've talked about art so much, this all the time, but now I want to ask you like something else.
Yeah.
What any non-art related thing you got going on in your life, hobbies, things, just projects that are completely non-art related, by the way.
Well, um, for for years when I was studying architecture, I really didn't have a lot going on because I literally had zero time. I was trying to, um, complete my schoolwork before the deadline, at the same time working, part-time working. But of course, I have a lot of hobbies that I want to make more time to you know um, do. One of them is I I have a playing card collection. I'm collecting, uh, playing cards decks that has, uh, for example, Harry Potter themes, or Dune, or just anything that looks interesting to me. Really, I'm just collecting them, and I think I have like 10 or 13 so far. And I used to try to get one each month, but it became much more difficult as economy is not very great at this time. Other than that, yeah, D&D. I played a lot of D&D when I was in university before the classes and the part-time work started. And I also have a dice collection, D&D dice collection. I have like maybe 14 pairs I collected in the past 7 years. And I play volleyball until like the second year of my university, from my childhood to second year of the university, I played volleyball. I also had this one year that I was interested in martial arts. I went to I took some Krav Maga classes. Also, I was at one point taking piano lessons. Uh, but all of these I had to choose over, like I had to choose other stuff over these at one point, because I didn't have that much time to do all of these. Uh, but yeah, these are pretty much the um, things I did through my university years. But right now, I just want to sit at home, watch some TV shows, or go out to a nature trip. I feel so tired because of the uh, graduation things I went through. For a while, I just need to like stop, heal, and do nothing. To do nothing that will take a lot of energy from me. And then I'm planning to, go back to, uh, doing a few of these. Maybe I'm actually planning to create a new campaign, D&D campaign for my friends. Maybe I will work on that in the next month or something.
All right, awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun. And yeah, definitely,
Definitely.
you seem like burnt out. Yeah, you definitely need rest. And
Yeah.
well, well, well. Actually, we've reached the final section and question of the podcast, which is called Time Capsule. And basically, what I'm going to ask you is this: if you could summarize and tell us the most valuable life lessons, the most important and valuable life lessons you've learned, as long as you remember till now, what are they? And no, this isn't an art question. This is like a life philosophy question, basically.
um, I think I have an answer. uh, we're living in a world that where we have a lot of communication tools. We have a lot of exposure to what other people are doing, through social media, or common practices that we see from other people every day around us. And I guess at one point, people just forgot to be themselves, and they just try to be someone, like try to make others, um, try to be like others, to you know get acceptance, maybe. But I think, um, just seeing the world through this filter, that's a raw filter, that is unaffected by other people's opinions, other people's lifestyles, or their practices. I think that's one of the most important things I'm trying to maintain for my life, so that I can be authentic, so that I can be original, not trying to copy others, but trying to create something original, come up with my own ideas, come up with my own life, that is not controlled by the society or others. Uh, and I think if you want to do something with your life, if you want to change something, you can always find a way to do it, if you take actions towards doing it. If you don't take action, it won't happen. You can wait as long as you want, but if you're not changing what you're doing, that change you want will not come to you. So I guess the most important thing that I'm trying to, have in my life is not to be a sheep, following the herd. um, I'm trying to be I'm trying to be original, let's say, uh, and yeah, it's I actually have a great inspiration um, from a thing my father always said to me since I was a kid. He would say, just looking, imagine you're looking at a production. It can be anything. It can be a product, it can be a movie, it can be a game, anything. And he would just tell me, hey Banks, look at this production. We're consumers right now, we're watching it, or we're taking it, we're experiencing it, but there are some people, they're actually creating it, doing. So he said, don't be a consumer, be the creator. So I guess that's also one of the biggest uh, mottos that I had. When I saw something, it wasn't enough for me to just experience it. I wanted to be a part of the creation. So I think, yeah, it's fair to say that this has also a lot of effect on how I see things and how I decided to, work on the creation of games. Let's say.
All right, that's an interesting perspective. And yeah, well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule and coming on for this episode. And thank you to anyone who tuned in and listened to this episode or watched this episode. Please leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions or comments or critiques or anything, And
Choose purple.
yeah, choose whatever color you want. Choose whichever color you want. And with that being said, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and till next episode. Bye bye. All right.